Hi, here is a question. Can you speak English without knowing any grammar rules and regulations? Is grammar necessary or not to speak in English? Is grammar's rules are apply or not to speak in English? What to do, what not to do? Someone says that grammar is not necessary to speak in English. Someone says we don't learn grammar and rules and regulations directly, we start speaking. How can it happen without knowing at least a very necessary rules and regulations of the grammar, which are always using to speak in English? Without knowing those things, how can we speak? In fact, this is not our native language. Our friends, family members, neighbors, classmates, everyone can't talk in English. We haven't any partner to speak in English. How can we speak English without knowing a very necessary, very needy things? That's the biggest question is. Let me give an example. What about riding bike? Can you ride bike without knowing anything, without practicing, without riding, without knowing anything, without knowing any rules? If you take a key, sit on the bike, start the bike, and start riding, can you go on your way? Can you ride the bike properly? Can you control over the bike? Not at all. You can't control the bike. Bike can control you. You can't go on your way. Bike take you on its way because you didn't learn before. So without learning any rules and regulations, if we comes directly, sit on the bike, start that, we can't go. Another example. What about driving the car? Do you drive the car without knowing any rules and regulations? Without learning anything? If you come suddenly and sit on the driver car, start the car, do you go properly? Do you drive the car properly? Can't, nothing. Because we have to learn some very necessary rules and regulations before we start anything. What about swimming? Without learning swimming, if we come to the swimming pool, directly jump to the water, do you come, do you swim? Do you come from the water? No. What about flying aeroplane? Do you fly the aeroplane without learning anything? Without learning rules and regulations? Without getting training? So, first of all, whatever we do, before that we have to do some groundwork. If a farmer wanted to seed, if a farmer wanted to put a seed in the field, first of all, he wanted to clean the ground. He wanted to clean the field, then watered, then some fertilizer, then put seeding, then fertilizers, then seed become plant grow, and he can get good crops at the end of the year. So without doing anything groundwork, without cleaning, without watering, without fertilizer, how can a farmer get good crops at the end of the year? This is a big question is. So yes, I have listened many people says without knowing, without using any grammar rules, we start speaking English. Don't learn any grammar and rules and regulations. They say. Yes, I'm not talking about. I'm not telling about that all grammar and all rules and regulations of the grammar we have to learn first, then speak English. I'm not talking about that. I'm not telling that. I mean very necessary things. For example, parts of speech very necessary to speak in English, and tenses. At which tense, which sentence, at what time do you use? This is very necessary to speak in English. Whatever sentence you use, there is a reason. There is a reason. Why did you use this sentence at this time? So tenses are explained all these things. We have to learn this kinds of sentences. What kind of sentence use, what kind of sentence not to do, not to use, what to do, what not to do. So some these elements, these are very very necessary, fundamental things if you speak in English properly. We have to focus on these things. First, if we learn these things, we can find a way how to go, how to ride, how to speak. We can find a proper way. That time we start speaking ourselves. So yes, we have to focus on these things. First of all, we have to learn at least tenses and parts of speeches and kinds of sentences. These are the very important. When we learn these things, when we understand these things, we can find some way, we can find some reason to speak English. So without learning any rules and regulations, we can't speak English properly. That become mistakes. So much errors happened. That's why, first of all, we focus on learn some very very necessary rules and regulations. When we learn things, once we learned these things, we can start speaking